Once upon a moonless night, a group of adventurous teenagers set out on a quest for thrill and excitement, their spirits high and hearts pounding with anticipation. They arrived at the gates of an ancient cemetery rumored to be haunted. Unfazed by the chilling ambience, the teenagers mustered up all their courage and stepped into the realm of the dead. The dim light of their flickering flashlights revealed crumbling tombstones, their inscriptions weathered by the passage of time. With each step, the ground seemed to grumble beneath them, as if resenting their intrusion into its sacred space. Shadows danced eerily on the moss-covered graves, casting grotesque shapes that seemed to whisper secrets only the deceased knew. Unbeknownst to the teenagers, their presence had awakened an ancient curse, causing the restless spirits to stir from their eternal slumber. As they ventured further into the cemetery with each passing moment, the atmosphere grew heavier, almost suffocating them. Laughter turned into nervous whispers as they stumbled upon a forgotten mausoleum engulfed in vines, and decay, curiosity, and a morbid fascination propelled them forward, urging them to unlock its rusted iron gate. Fearful glances were exchanged, but their thirst for adventure prevailed, and in they went, with trembling hands. A fervent knock toppled an old sarcophagus, revealing a hidden passageway leading deep into the abyss below, their hearts pounding against their rib cages like a trapped bird. The curiosity-driven teenagers hesitantly descended, their feet echoing against the damp stones as they delved into the cryptic chambers. It was then that they stumbled upon a forgotten diary, its frayed pages brittle and filled with cryptic writing. Intrigued yet unaware of the power it held, one reckless teen boldly uttered the forbidden words inked on the final page. A chilling wind swept through the catacombs, extinguishing their flashlights and leaving them in suffocating darkness. As their visions adjusted to the abyss, horrified gasps escaped their lips when they witnessed the tormented souls of long-departed bodies. Rising from the earth, bones creaked and cracked, muscles and sinew growing like twisted vines upon their skeletal remains. The once dormant corpses writhed with new life, animosity etched into their vacant eye sockets. With a malevolent hunger, that undead approached the trembling teenagers, their bony fingers reaching out and tauntingly brushing against their flesh. The air became saturated with a putrid stench of decay, suffocating the terrified teens who desperately fought against the encroaching darkness, struggling to escape the relentless grasp of their newly resurrected foes. Frantic footsteps echoed through the labyrinthine tunnels as the teenagers sprinted towards the forsaken entrance, their fear stripping away rational thought. Panic unleashed their primal instincts, pushing them to the brink of exhaustion as they dashed through a winding maze of rooms. Just as despair threatened to consume their fragile souls, a blinding light erupted from beyond the exit, as if divine intervention had answered their silent pleas for salvation. Bursting through the doors, they tumbled into the damp grass outside, gasping for air and trembling uncontrollably as the terrified teenagers lay on the ground. Gasping for breath, they realized with horror that the gates of the cemetery remained wide open. Panic set in as they watched in disbelief, their eyes wide with terror as the skeletons emerged, one by one, from their desolate graves. With each step, the skeletons emitted an eerie creaking sound, their bones rattling and grinding against each other, creating a chilling symphony of death. Their hollow eye sockets glowed with an otherworldly light, as if fueled by the malevolent energy that pulsed through their long-dead bodies. The once calm graveyard transformed into a macabre scene of nightmares, as the skeletal entities began to encircle the trembling teenagers. They moved with an unnatural swiftness, their bony fingers outstretched and thirsting for the warmth of mortal flesh. In a desperate attempt to escape, the teenagers staggered to their feet and stumbled backward, only to find themselves trapped within the desecrated grounds. No matter which direction they turned, the relentless skeletons closed in, their decayed breath whispering a haunting tune that gripped their souls in paralyzing fear. With sheer determination, the teenagers managed to summon whatever strength remained within them. They clung to each other, frantically devising a plan, their voices a mixture of terror and determination. It was in that fateful moment, fueled by a glimmer of hope and survival instinct, that they resolved to face the skeletal army head-on. As the first skeleton lunged forward, its bony hand reaching out to ensnare its prey, the teenagers fought back with all their might. They swung makeshift weapons, their strikes connecting with the resonating sound of splintering bones. However, for each enemy they felled, another seemed to rise, unyielding and unrelenting. As the gates of the cemetery remained open, the relentless procession of skeletons continued to emerge, their hollow eye sockets fixated on the terrified teenagers. Frozen in fear, the young souls were defenseless against the ghastly onslaught. The skeletons, they were getting closer and closer, their bony fingers clawing at the air, anxious to claim their next victims. The teenagers screamed, their pleas for mercy echoing through the night, but their desperate cries fell upon deaf, lifeless ears. One by one, the skeletons closed in, tearing through flesh and bone with merciless efficiency. The air was filled with anguished screams as the young lives were snuffed out, their dreams and aspiration abruptly extinguished. The once peaceful cemetery became a scene of unspeakable horror, the ground soaked with the blood of the fallen as the skeletons reveled in their newfound power, their dark aura permeating the desecrated grounds. The news of the tragedy traveled through the town, leaving a mournful pall over the community. Families wept, their hearts heavy with grief, as they laid their children to rest once more. This time, forever years passed, and the cemetery became shrouded or dead, warning all who dared approach. The skeletons, driven by an insatiable hunger, continued to roam the desolate grounds. No one dared to venture near, knowing that certain death awaited those who dared challenge the curse. The spectral moans of the deceased and the eerie glow emanating from the skeletal figures served as a harrowing reminder of the tragic fate that befell the teenagers who once sought adventure within its confines. Attempts were made to close the gates, but every effort proved in vain. It seemed as though an unseen force guarded them, preventing anyone from sealing away the evil within. The cemetery became a forsaken land, forever tainted by the unspeakable horrors that unfolded within its confines. Years turned into decades, and the cemetery stood as a haunting reminder of the price paid by those who dared to meddle with forces beyond their comprehension. Stories passed down through generations, warning of the cursed grounds and the restless skeletons that roamed within. To this day, the gates of the cemetery remain open, serving as a chilling invitation for the curious and foolhardy. The skeletons, forever on the hunt for fresh souls to claim, perpetuate the cycle of terror. The town, scarred by the tragedy, lives in perpetual fear, knowing that no one who enters the cemetery will ever emerge unscathed. Thus, the cursed cemetery stands as a testament to the consequences of youthful curiosity and their irreversible terrors that can be unleashed when the barrier between the living and the dead is shattered.